All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the third episode. It's been 3 weeks in a row. Hopefully, I'll get this up on time. We're recording a little later than usual, but we're gonna try our best to be entertaining. Um, I guess we could start off. What's new in your week, man? Anything new to talk about?
What's new in my week? Since last time we recorded,
Hmm.
um, had friends over that one
Yeah,
night. Um, played some games, did some drinking, had a Mario Kart tourney.
yeah.
Um, really, brought my tournament building
Oh, you
forte
did you
from the
did a whole
COD years
bracket
into
and everything.
practice. Double elimination,
Nice.
Mario Kart tourney, one race. It still got messed up,
Yeah.
but that was chill.
Nice.
And then just school. I did the gym with a classmate, like actually doing gym stuff, not just cardio. And I haven't been able to do anything for the last 2 days because of
Cause
that.
you're sore,
So,
right?
because I'm
Yeah.
sore, yeah, I can't. I'm using the railing for stairs. Can't lift my left arm.
Yeah. You'll feel how it feels to be
But
old, man.
yep,
You're getting there.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm on that gym grind, I guess.
Good, man.
But that's about it. Nothing too exciting this
Yeah.
week.
I'm trying to think of
What
my
about you?
week. Nothing crazy. Just chilling out, playing games. I've been working on a lot of music, which I don't know how much I'm gonna talk about on here, 'cause it's kind of like a different. I try to keep it separate for some reason. I don't know why. But I have my first single of the year coming out. The 31st. I'm excited about that.
Yep.
Um, yeah, just working on music and trying to figure out like what I want to do for this next album. I'm kind of like I have so many ideas about what I want to do, but like I don't know the best way to execute them, and like it's just a difficult process. But no, just chilling out. I've been doing a lot of like learning. Like I've been trying to watch more like educational podcasts about like the world and stuff. Just trying to get
Mhm.
a little smarter, 'cause I feel like I don't put a crazy a lot of effort into like knowing what's going on. I kind of stay away from that because I feel like if you get lost in that, it there's a lot of shit in the world. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's all really
Yeah.
negative all the time, and so I try not to really get into it. But I've been trying again recently. But yeah, nothing too new. Had some good streams this week. I know I didn't really consistently stream, but played some Civ and getting back into that. Um, but yeah, that's about it.
Nice.
Nothing too crazy new. No big developments. Nothing crazy. I think the last. I'm trying to think of when the
So
last one
your
was.
your single that's dropping, is it from the album I've heard, or is it something new
I
since then?
think you heard it. It was the one I sent you, and I was like, this is like a good late night vibe. That's the one
Okay.
that dropped.
So not from the album,
Not.
but something I have heard.
It's something you've heard, but it's not like something I showed you as a
Yeah, yeah.
piece of the album. I'm still like, I don't know if I want to drop an album or not because it doesn't really make sense to. Like, it
Yeah.
really doesn't. But I like albums. I like full like bodies of work that I can listen top to bottom. Like I'm actually really proud of my last one. I feel like you could listen top to bottom and it all like meshed pretty well together. Um but
Mhm.
it doesn't really make sense anymore in the music industry to drop albums unless you're like already really big. Then you can drive a bunch of streams, but if you're kind of a smaller artist, it doesn't really make sense anymore. So I'm still like back and forth on if I even want to drop one or what I'm gonna do. But for now, I was like, well,
Mhm.
I need to release something soon because I want to like, I have all this music that I don't like to sit on music. I like to just get it out there because I feel like if I sit on it for like a month, I'm gonna listen to it in a month and I'm not gonna like it. So it's like, I like to just drop music when I have it done. So
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta get rid of this like backlog I have. So I'm gonna start a bit of a single run and then kind of decide if I want to do the album or not. But I think you heard it. I think it's one of the ones you liked. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so we'll see. I'm gonna go on a bit of a single run and see how it goes and kind of go from there. But yeah, Nothing too crazy new though. My weeks are that's gonna be a bit of a problem with this podcast is like I don't have that eventful of a life. Like not
Yeah.
right now. I mean maybe a few months ago, but right now it's pretty uneventful. So just playing games, chilling out with the homies. That's about it.
Mhm. Mhm.
We did watch Ex Machina yesterday, which was interesting. I thought it made me think a lot
Indeed.
about AI
Yeah.
and like I don't know, that movie made me think about like it's probably not that far fetched of an idea. Like I
No, especially from like the time it was made
yeah,
to
it's
now. Like,
definitely shit like that's going on now. But it made me think about AI a lot and kind of like how search engines really do have access to like everything we have and can really
mhm.
it's not far fetched for them to use the search engine to create an AI. Like that's not too crazy of an idea. So made me think a lot about Google, how much they got on me, but what you gonna do, man?
Yeah.
We're at a point where like you can't not use it. Like
Can't now use it now.
you're kind of fucked. Like it
Like
is what it is.
I know my roommate knows some people that like don't use
Mm,
Google because like they're stifling your information, and it's like they've already got my at this point they've already got all my
100%.
information, so like there's no point in switching
Yeah.
now.
I mean,
Like I've agreed to the terms and conditions on 20 other things that are
100%.
taking my
Yeah.
information. So
TikTok was the craziest one for me that I like actually read the terms of service and I
yep.
was like, "Oh shit." Like and we're just all agreeing to it. Like we just don't it's weird that people don't care enough. Like they're just like, "Well, fuck it," like, "Yeah, I have my microphone, like who cares?" But to be fair, do I really give a shit if I search up like when this one movie came out and Google uses that information and sells it? Do I really give a shit? Like it
Mhm.
doesn't really affect me.
No.
And like honestly, I know people were freaked out about the targeted ads like when that kind of went into the I feel like most people knew that. Like I knew that they were using my search shit to like use to get ads specific for me. I've known that forever. Like they've always done that. But then the
Yeah.
Facebook thing came out and everyone was kind of freaking out about that. I don't really mind that. I don't see what the problem is. Like why would I would rather get an ad for something I might actually buy than get an ad for like
Yeah.
something I'm never going to buy. Like
Mhm. It's never been a big
no,
issue to
I've
me.
never cared. Like I know there's a privacy, everyone's really big on privacy, and I understand that, but like the targeted ads thing, like I would way rather get an ad for a controller than like a tampon. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. So, but I don't know, it's weird to think like 5 years ago we really didn't have a capable AI, not that to my knowledge.
Yeah.
And like now we have a lot of different capable AI. We have AIs making art and you know what I mean? So it makes me kind of
Mhm.
wonder what it's going to be like in like 10 years, Like what that's going to look like.
I saved this Instagram post I saw earlier this week, but a robot lawyer powered by AI is going to defend a human in court for the first time.
Really? Where at? In the States?
Yeah. Yeah, let me read it. Robot lawyer powered by AI will help fight speeding ticket as it takes first case in court. According to New York Post, the world's first robot lawyer will take a case next month with AI legal assistant helping a defendant fight a traffic ticket.
Mm.
Um, it will run on a smartphone and listen to court arguments in real time before telling the defendant what to say via headphones. The
Oh,
unprecedented hearing is slated to take place sometime next month, but the makers of the robot lawyer are not disclosing the location of the court or the name of the defendant.
wow, that's weird.
So,
That's
yeah,
weird.
if a Twitch AI wasn't enough, now we got
Got AI lawyers.
AI
Man, do you
lawyers.
think we'll get to a point where we'll have to like make some rules about where we use AI and like what's considered not human, but like I guess kind of like we're gonna have to make a
Yeah,
distinction at
I
some
mean,
point, right? Like how we treat them, how we use them, where it's allowed. Because that seems wild to me. That
mm-hmm.
like I guess if you were gonna test an AI for like serious capabilities, a lawyer's probably a good thing because it's a lot of information that's already there, you know? Like I feel like you can feed an
Yeah.
AI all the rules and the laws and everything like that, and then a few you know how they like cross-reference cases sometimes? I feel like if
Yeah.
there was something you were gonna test on an AI, that's a pretty fucking good one. Um, but
Hmm.
that's scary. I wonder if it'll get him off. I wonder if it'll.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, it's just weird to think about. Like,
It's just.
if you had an AI, like, you could buy an AI, let's say, a robot to have in your house, right? That'll clean and cook and take care of all the shit you don't want to
Hmm.
take care of. At what point, like, can we even really determine if it has consciousness or feelings? Is that something? Because we don't even understand how we have those. Like, we
Yeah.
don't understand human consciousness ourselves. Like, we don't know what that is even. Like, we know that we have a brain and we think using the brain, but we don't know really what consciousness is, right? So, like, how, if we can't determine what consciousness is for us, how are we going to determine what that is for something we created, or like a machine that's probably a lot smarter and evolving a lot faster than we are?
Yeah. Can we tell that it has consciousness, or can we tell that it's only acting like it has a
Yeah.
consciousness?
Oh, fuck, man. That's scary to me. That's real scary to
Like,
me. Like, I know that it's inevitable. At some point, it's
yeah.
going to make more sense to have an AI robot clean your house that you have a one-time purchase for, and you don't have to think about it, and it has updates and it can do new shit. You know what I mean? Like, we kind of already have that with Tesla, right?
Yeah.
Like, it drives your car for you.
Hmm.
You know, has all these features, it parks for you. You would want that if it was more accessible, I think, to people. I think like if people had a choice, if a Tesla was more affordable, I think everyone would have a Tesla.
Well, we were just talking in class today about Elon Musk a lot, actually,
Mm.
but how there's plans to make a super affordable
Mm.
Tesla. And I don't know, like, there's a lot of people in class that are keeping up with the world a lot more
Yeah.
than me. But yeah, they're talking about how Elon has plans to make a 10,000
Oh
Tesla,
wow,
like,
that would be a game
and
changer.
that's like super cheap. But
Yeah.
I mean, in Canada, there's a thing where all like you're only supposed to be having electric vehicles by 2030. Like they want to get rid of any production of non-electric vehicles.
Really? Mm.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I don't think it's gonna meet their
No, I
deadline,
doubt it.
but
2030.
unless something like these $10,000 Teslas come
Right.
out, I mean, but the amount of money you're gonna have to put into building like
Different factories
EV
and
places all
yeah.
over.
I mean, gas sta- Well, I feel like you could
Hmm.
convert gas stations efficiently. Like you could just
Yeah.
shut off the pumps, and there's already power at the pumps, so you could probably do something there. But it is going to be. I mean, I don't know how the factories work, but I would imagine it's a way different process. And I don't know if you would need to
Hmm.
build new factories or if you'd have to outfit the old ones with new. Like, that's a lot of investment that I don't think is going to happen. But, um,
Yeah.
but I know California, isn't California doing something like that? Like, they don't want any new cars. Like you won't be allowed to buy a new car
I
that's not
think so.
electric. Um,
Hmm.
so I don't know. I also have heard some conflicting, like that electric cars aren't really that efficient, like environmentally. Like that the
Yeah.
way to like you still have to make them, and it actually uses more carb. Like it has a bigger carbon footprint on the production side than it does like driving. So like, and they're also saying like it'll have a bigger carbon footprint because the energy you're using to charge your Tesla is still not clean. So like if you have a lot more
Yeah.
people using that energy, it's going to have a bigger carbon footprint. So like
You need a complete
yeah,
overhaul.
you
Like
need like
you need that renewable
yeah, you need
energy
something.
first, and then that can charge your Tesla. But
I feel like we won't have real electric like everyone has an electric car until we can use nuclear energy more efficiently. Like once we can harness
yeah.
nuclear energy in a way that is safe and like not so expensive and it because the problem now is you can use nuclear but it's obviously very it's not very safe. Like you can't just have a reactor in every car. I
Hmm.
know that they were thinking about doing that, but you can't just have a small nuclear reactor in your car. That's you get in a car accident, it's a dirty bomb. Like fuck that. Um, but the problem with nuclear energy is that there's no way to dispose of the waste really. And
No.
I think the disposal of the waste, like the waste is still weapons grade. So you can't really just like you have to find a way to dispose of the excess. I think it's like plutonium or uranium or whatever. I'm not super educated, obviously,
Hmm.
but there is some waste that
Yeah.
happens when the reactor is finished that, like, you need a better way of disposing it. So until we have that, I don't feel like we'll go full energy, like clean energy, not for a while. But
Hmm.
but once we have nuclear, like once we can really fuck with nuclear and like make it safe and not affordable, but I mean, if we can have electric cars that are being charged by nuclear energy, that's a lot more efficient than like I think isn't Germany still using coal? I think Germany's coal
I think
usages
so.
have went up a lot in
Yeah.
the last couple of years. So until we can really harness nuclear energy, I don't think we're going full clean energy on anything. But
No.
I also don't know. Like I'm not a I believe in climate change. I think that that is something that we fucked up. I think we definitely contribute to that. But
Hmm.
I also don't know if it's as big of a thing as people are like advertising it is. Because if you look at like the Earth's temperature over the past X amount of years, right? There's kind of always been an up and
Hmm.
down, and we're just kind of trending towards an up, like the temperature's rising a little bit again. And I'm not saying that we are not contributing to that rise, and it may get hotter because of that. But I just don't know if like
Yeah.
that temperature rise is 100% because of us completely. I think there might be like a natural temperature rise that's happening, but I'm not an
Hmm.
expert. But I just feel like, is the world really going to end in 2024? Because like in 2020 they were saying we had like 4 years, and I
Yeah.
don't feel like that is going to happen. I do, maybe we'll have sea level rises that might fuck some shit up pretty bad, but
Yeah.
again, I don't
I
know.
mean, it's already starting to rise, but I don't think yeah. I don't know. If we keep making progress, maybe it'll be fine.
Maybe, yeah. I think
But
we have time. I think we have enough time to
yeah.
figure it out. I don't feel like
You see the I don't know if this is even climate change at all,
mm,
but the ozone layer is supposed to be completely fixed by
it's supposed
2050,
to be fixed.
or like it's not like it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to close again. Really?
Yeah, like it's supposed to look or be fine by it's either 2050 or
Wow.
2030, but I'm leaning towards
Yeah.
2050 is what I read. I
Interesting.
need to start writing down all this interesting stuff I read throughout the
Yeah.
week, but
That's interesting. When did we find out
yeah,
there was a hole in the 60s? 70s?
60s or
Yeah.
70s, yeah.
And then that contributed to like skin cancer rise, right? Like crazy rise in skin cancer. That's interesting.
Yeah.
How would it close naturally on its own? Are we emitting less? Like what happened in the 60s to where we like the industrial era opened a hole in the ozone, I guess?
It was something with what was in um am I stupid? Was it something relating to like fridges and stuff?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not.
Or is that something
That might
completely
be
different?
something
I think
different,
it was
but
something they were used to cool fridges
and it
and
was
stuff.
creating enough
But
CO2 that like it just ripped a hole.
I don't exactly remember. I'd have to do my
That's kind of
research,
wild,
but
actually. That's interesting though that it'll close up again. I wonder how much skin cancer is going to lower, or if it won't really go away.
let's see. Is said to be completely healed over most of the world within 2
Wow.
decades, um, due to phasing out ozone depleting substances.
Mm. Nice. Well, that's good.
2040.
2040. Nice. That's good. That's good news.
Mm.
I
Well,
I don't know. The problem is like I'm not saying skin cancer is not a big deal. It's obviously terrible and awful. We need to stop like there's a lot of other things we need to fix too as like as western I feel like western societies have some shit that they need to fix with food. I feel like food needs a big. We need to change how people are eating, myself included. I don't eat very well, but like we
Oh
need to
yeah.
just, bro, we're using so much shit in the food, and it's just like, I mean, there's so many
Mm-hmm.
chemicals and preservatives, and like, I understand that it is a lot more cost efficient and easier to use preservatives and things like that, but like, if we're talking about cancer rates rising and people dying from cancer, like, oh, I wonder why there are a bunch of cancer rates rising because we're using all this crazy shit in everything we consume. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
it's good that the ozone layer's healing. That's nice. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
But I'm also really guilty of probably not doing all I can for like, I don't know though. I heard that recycling's not actually that helpful and that they just burn it anyway.
I mean, not as helpful. I'm sure like the plastic that can be remade into stuff
Yeah.
doesn't hurt since you're not using new shit. But
Hmm. I know there's some people who want to use trash as an energy source, like they can burn it and
yeah.
use it as an energy source, but I don't know how. Cause I mean, we got a shitload of trash. That's one thing we'll never run out of is trash. So if they can,
Mm-hmm.
that'd be cool. If we could power things with trash, be pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that in like Back to the Future? He used like trash to power the DeLorean. Isn't that what it was?
Sounds
I
about
feel like it
right.
was like trash, but I don't remember. I did see that they're trying to make cars run off of like hydrogen mixture instead of gas,
Yeah.
but like I think Porsche has a plant in like, oh God, I don't remember. Chile, I think. They invested a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
and they want to like flood the market with this new fuel type. But I've heard people say that like you're basically creating a hydrogen bomb in your car. So like car accidents are gonna be wild. They're gonna just be crazy
What was
explosions.
the Crystal and Knives Out? Was it hydrogen?
Was it?
The new one?
I
I
think
don't
it
remember what it
was. Yeah,
was,
I think you're right. I think it was like a hydrogen crystal or something like that. But
but so, amen.
hey, man, the world is. It always ends up working out somehow, right? It's kind of just
Yeah.
until it won't. One day it won't. One day something's gonna fuck
Smarter
up bad.
people than us are working on it, so
True. Yeah, we can just sit back and chill. We don't have to worry about it.
we're part of the problem.
Oh, for
But
sure. But
you know,
it is what it is. Um, do you think like we'll get to see other planets in our lifetime?
what do you
Like, do you think
mean by see?
we will see Mars and like be on a space shuttle at some point in our lifetime?
Hmm.
Because it's something that's not so far fetched, but I don't know if we're there yet.
No.
But like we're only in our 20s, like by our 40s.
Maybe. I don't know. Us
Yeah.
specifically?
Like you think it'll get
Oh
to a point
no.
where like we'll be able to just go to space, like it'll be like air travel.
If it is a thing that can be done, it's probably going to be expensive. Um,
For a little bit, yeah. But I don't know how long it will
I'd
be expensive
imagine.
for.
Yeah. I feel like at least the first 30, 40 years of its existence, it's going to be
Really
pretty
that long?
expensive.
I don't know though, because we've
Yeah.
already been like, it's not like space shuttles is a new thing. Like it's been around for a while now. I feel like we would find a
No.
more efficient way to do it sooner than that. Especially with the concept of
Maybe, but it's such a new
it is,
thing
yeah.
that it's going to be marked up.
For sure. But I think that,
Especially with the cost to make the trip.
yeah.
Like,
The thing is like, there's a lot of commitment now to making space travel, what am I trying to say? For like tourism. And like, they want to
hmm
use space travel as a way to get around instead of planes because I mean, your flights are a lot smaller, obviously. Like, I think you can get from one corner to one corner in like 2 hours or something like that if you go via space. So I think that's something that they're very interested in doing. So if you have a lot of companies committed to that, like, hey, we can make a lot of money off of like domestic and international travel, it might come around sooner than you think.
hmm
But I don't know. I don't
Well, they
That'd
just
be
found
interesting.
a new Earth-sized planet that's habitable,
Did
right?
they?
I think 3 days ago,
How far is it
three,
though?
4 days ago. Yeah,
See, that's the thing.
I'm sure it's too
Yeah.
far. Um, let's see if I can find it. I don't know if I saved it, but
It is interesting though.
it's located 100 light years
100
away.
light years? Yeah. Well, until we have like.
But I think it's kind of close by to the other Earth-sized planet
Mm,
they found that's habitable.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I think if you give us like 100 or so years, we could probably get there. We'd find a way to get there.
Hmm.
But it is
Yeah,
weird. Do you
for
think
sure.
that we're gonna get to a point, like as a, I don't know, like do you think humans are going to get to a point on Earth where they need to leave and they'll have to find somewhere else? Like obviously, I don't think in our lifetime, unless the world
Mm.
ends, we won't have to deal with that. Like in our lifetime, I feel like we're either dying here or we're staying here. Like,
Outside of like nuclear war,
yeah.
um, but I feel like whether it's need to leave or want to leave,
Mm,
I think maybe not within 100 years, but I don't know. I guess maybe give us like 300 years.
yeah.
I think there'll be people on a different planet.
Yeah. Well, my thing is like, what would get us to need to leave? And the only thing I can think of is like
Hmm.
another catastrophe asteroid event. Because now we would probably know that it's coming. But
Yeah.
I know there is a defense system for that now. Like, they have a slight defense system for asteroids that they can intercept if it is hitting anywhere dangerous. But I
Hmm.
mean, some of the asteroids that have hit Earth are. I mean, that would be impossible to divert. I think we'd be fucked. So that's the only thing I can think of to
Yeah.
like, hey, we're gonna die soon. We need to leave because we can't. Like, there's nothing we can do about it. But then,
Hmm.
how do you choose who goes? You know, like you can't bring everybody. So
You don't release the
yeah,
info.
I guess you just send certain people and call it a day. Um,
Hmm. But then you have to hope that it doesn't get leaked.
yeah. But then again, I mean,
Which
like,
is what, like the Don't Look Up
yeah, kind of,
movie?
yeah. But like, what do you lose if it gets leaked and there's pandemonium? Like, some people are still, you're still gonna be able to
Hmm.
leave. Like, what's,
I'm sure,
you'll be
but
fine. You know, just gotta get that ticket.
depends on how much is leaked. Like if the location of the only
Yeah, then
shuttle that can
then it would
save
be
people is leaked,
destroyed,
then
100%.
it's probably fucked. Yeah.
It's a weird thought. You know, we've had a weird time where like we really haven't had. We've been in a period where like there's kind of been a peacetime a bit. Like I know there have been terrible wars that have happened during our lifetime, but not as prevalent as like a
Hmm.
World War II or maybe even a Vietnam.
Yeah.
I know that there were awful wars that happened, not discrediting those and saying people didn't die and it was awful, but like we've had a weird peacetime where like we really haven't had to deal with any of that, you know? Especially Western
Hmm.
countries, like there hasn't been a draft in the States since like Vietnam. And like it is the time that we're growing up in is a weird time of like I don't know. We're allowed to focus on things that maybe we wouldn't have been able to focus on if we grew up in any other period of time. Maybe the 80s,
Hmm.
80s and 90s, but it's just a
Yeah.
weird. We're allowed to focus on a lot of other shit right now. Based on that, we're kind of just ignoring wars. Like that's kind of what it
Yeah.
seems like everyone's doing now, right? Like we're so focused on what Trump is doing or like whoever's getting canceled or like we're so focused on that shit that we kind of just don't even think about the real stuff that's going on. So we're allowed to
Hmm.
focus on other shit. Whereas like before, I don't know if you had the luxury of being able to think about things like that. But
Hmm.
I don't know. It's a weird time. I feel like it's gonna be the name of this podcast in a year. It's a weird time because like I feel like I say that all the time.
Yeah.
Um,
Not a bad name.
yeah, not that name. Maybe podcast number 2. You know, start a little network. Um,
Hmm.
did you have another topic, or you want me to bust into mine a little bit?
You bust.
Okay, I'm a bust right now. Um,
Yep.
okay, we'll do because I feel like this will be easier for both of us to talk about. How last year was mental health wise and what we learned.
Hmm.
Yeah. Any big
I shall
developments?
start.
Yeah, you can start if you want, or I can start if you want to think about it more.
I don't feel like it was too bad. Like I don't really keep track of
Mm.
it. Like I feel like it was. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was pretty good. Like life was okay.
Mm.
You know, you have that like you have random weeks where you're
Right.
like,
You're
ugh,
just depressed.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, it wasn't too bad. And then towards the end of the year, I felt like it was actually pretty good.
Mm.
I don't know what for or why,
Well, you
but
got a lot
at
more
least I can
social towards
remember
the
it
end of the
being.
year. You know,
I don't know if that boosted my mental health per se,
mm.
but yeah,
Just felt good.
I don't know. Just life was good for a bit, and then school hit, and
Yeah.
then it was like,
Back to shit.
depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's been steadily on the rise, at least.
Good. There anything you
Um,
learned like about yourself? Anything new?
about myself. Um, Not particularly. I mean, I guess yeah, you're right. Like social settings aren't as I don't hate them as much as I thought.
Yeah.
I'm still not gung ho, but um, yeah, I don't know. Mental health is it's been on the rise for sure. Not that it was ever bad per se, minus like the random week a month,
Right.
but I don't know. Not too many issues there
That's good.
that I can think
Yeah.
of. I'm
There
sure
were
there
a
were
few
times.
things that happened.
Block them
Of
out,
course, that's what we do.
Hmm.
Hmm.
What about you?
I shouldn't have wrote that down because this is gonna be a
Yeah, it's a heavy one
it's a
for you
heavy
and
one.
a
Yeah.
10-seconder for me.
What did I? Last year was really rough. Probably one of the hardest years I can think of that I've ever had. Not on paper, but just kind of mentally and emotionally, it was the most difficult I've had. Um, I would
Hmm.
say on paper it's probably one of the better years, but there was a lot of, there was a lot of questioning my decisions and overthinking, wondering if I made the wrong decision. And for people that don't know, I took a pretty big risk and left my family pretty much and decided to pursue education and all that shit. And in turn, that had me leaving my family, which was I had lived like I moved out of the house when I was young, so I was always I was away from my family. That wasn't something that's new, but I was in the same country. I could just go visit them whenever I needed. But now,
Hmm.
that's a bit more of a bigger task to go visit them. So, um, it was a lot. It was a difficult year. There's a lot of shit that went down. Um, but what did I learn? I feel like I learned a lot. I feel like I learned how to be alone more and better. Like, I have never really been good at being alone. And not to say that I don't enjoy it,
Hmm.
I just haven't been good at it. Like, I choose things to find it, like I choose addictions or I find bad ways to fill my time when I'm bored. And
Hmm.
I also used to put a lot of stock in like not being alone for birthdays and Christmas and like big events. But this year I kind of realized like you have to you have to be okay with being alone for things like that because at some point you're going to be alone for your birthday. At some point you're going to be alone for Christmas. Like
Yeah.
so it sucked and it was hard to deal with, but I also learned that like it's all right. It's not a big deal. Like at some point you're going to have to deal with this. So I'm kind of glad that it happened now. Um but no, I don't know. I feel like I learned how to be alone better. I learned a lot about myself with how I like what I want in a relationship. Actually, I learned a lot about that this year. Kind of what I'm looking for
Hmm.
and traits that I should avoid. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It wasn't a terrible year. It was just difficult. But I do feel like I learned a lot. So um, I don't know if I'm happier per se, but I don't
Yeah.
know what that really means. To like, I feel like happy is defined different for everybody. You know? Like everybody has their own view of
Mhm.
what happiness is. For me, like I just want the least amount of complications in my life. That's what would make me quote unquote happy. Like I don't think I could ever be happy. Like I've never met anyone that's happy every day all the time. Like that doesn't exist. You know what I mean? My camera went out of focus with my
No.
rage. Okay, there you go. Being happy all the time every day, having everything you want, it doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. So
Mhm.
I think as long as I can have something to be happy about at some point, like there is something that makes me happy. You know, like some people it's their kids, some people it's a movie they like, some people it can be really simple, you know. But like watching
Mhm.
a good movie makes me happy. And that's I feel like about as good as it can get. Like it's something that I can do and it makes me happy. Does it brighten my whole day up and I'm happy for the rest of the week? No. But I feel like that's what happiness
Yeah.
is like having something that can give you that feeling and you enjoy yourself and that's it, you know. I don't feel like happiness exists.
Mhm.
Like you're just there's always going to be shit. And if your life was always happy, you wouldn't appreciate it. You wouldn't know what it feels
Yeah.
like to be down. So I don't know if I'm
Mhm.
happy, but I have moments of happiness, which is enough for me because there were some years there
Yeah.
where it was just nothing the whole year, and it was tough, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Um, the actors on actors segment I watched
Mm.
talked a little bit about because the dude asked everyone like how they dealt with like the darker
Mm.
times. Um, and it's interesting. This one guy talked about how his therapist had mentioned that life, like you don't want to be like you gotta understand you're not gonna be happy all the
Mm.
time. You're not gonna be sad all the time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of I can't. I'm paraphrasing how he said that she phrased it, but it was kind of like life is like your heartbeat or like whatever. Like if you're constantly happy or like you're constantly sad, like that's just not how life is. Like then you'd be flatlined, and then there's like
Right.
nothing. You
Yeah.
know, like you gotta understand there's gonna be like highs and lows, and that's just part of life. Like that's part of
Yeah.
living. Um, and so you've got to understand that when you're in a low, like you're gonna spike up
Right.
soon, or like you're gonna spike up. It may not be soon, like but you gotta
It
understand
will
that
go up at some point.
the happiness
Yeah.
is coming your way. Yeah, and so like you gotta learn to like appreciate the
Yeah.
happiness
For
and
sure.
shit. And I don't know, it was much better worded in the
Yeah.
video, but I thought it was a great analogy, and I did
No,
like
it
it a
is.
lot.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, and it's weird in life because sometimes it feels like it's been low for fucking ever.
for a long
And
time, yeah.
but it will go up again. But I think it's important that when it does go up, and I see a lot of people take this for granted, um, when it goes up, they feel like it's never gonna go down again, and you can't
Mhm.
do that. Like if you're really really happy, you
No.
have to understand that like something could happen tomorrow, and this goes away, and you hate your life again. But I think that's where that appreciation, like you need to really appreciate when you have a good thing going. Like people who are in
Mhm.
relationships, you know, like I feel like they don't think about what's gonna happen. Like you guys are probably gonna break up. Let's be realistic. A lot of people break up now. If you're under like 30, you're probably gonna break up.
Mhm.
The chances are high that you're gonna break up. But that doesn't mean that you can't enjoy what's happening right now. Enjoy this moment. Enjoy this like chapter in your life. I feel like people don't really do that as
Mhm.
much as they should. Um, but no, I think that's a great analogy because it's there's gonna be points where you're fucking down for a while, but at some point something's
Mhm.
gonna work out for you. You know, it's just kind of how it always goes. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's not all bad. But it is really hard to have that mentality though. That's really hard to implement in your life to like have the
No.
hope of like hope is hard has
100%.
always been hard for me to hold on to. Like it's real easy for me to
Mhm.
lose hope and just kind of accept that it's gonna be shit and like it's never gonna be good again and all this stuff. But I think if you accept that, like if you never have hope, you probably won't ever have that high because you're never. I feel you lose energy to work on anything, work on yourself. Like if you just lose hope completely, it's a it's a dark thing, you know. But that's a good
Mhm.
analogy. Yeah, it's always you don't want to be flatline. You never want your life to be nothing, or it would just feel. I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't know how that would feel.
Yeah. You want to
Yeah,
experience anything really? Like.
I would hate to be. I don't know. Yeah, I would hate that. If like every day of my life was picture perfect and you never knew what the opposite is, like you would never appreciate what you have.
Hmm.
So, um, yeah, no, that's a good analogy though. But yeah, last year was a weird year. I think kind of a everyone. I feel like everyone kind of had some changes for themselves. Some more than others, and some
Yeah.
more mental or more physical. But everyone kind of. It seems like everyone realized some shit last year. I don't know why, but everyone I know
Yeah.
seems like they realized something last year. So it's better than not realizing anything, I guess. Um, yeah. Let me look at our. Let me see what I got topic wise. I feel like we touched on that pretty well.
Mm.
Um. Oh, let's not talk about addiction. uh, what is your best album of 2022? What's the album you enjoyed the most of last year?
My best album of
Yeah.
2022. You told me this question, and you bet I barely looked at albums.
Yeah.
See, it's tough because I'm not a guy that listens to like
Right.
albums really, except for
Yeah.
recently. Like I just see a new song and I'm like, oh man, that's
Mm.
pretty neat. Things that I actually listened to album-wise last year. Um, it's
Yeah.
tough. It's been a long
Not a
year.
lot of people dropped last year
It's
though.
not a lot of people
Yeah.
dropped.
Like we had Post, Kendrick,
I gotta figure out when stuff
Joji
came
dropped
out.
last year. There weren't a lot of big AAA like albums that dropped last year that I'm aware of. I mean, like I don't count. Like, look, I'm sorry if you're a Taylor Swift fan. I don't listen to Taylor Swift, so I
Hmm.
don't. I know people were probably freaking out that she dropped an album last year, but it's not my thing.
Yeah, I feel like there's only like even a couple albums that come to mind that like I actually listened to the whole
Yeah,
album. So I'd probably just for like I listened to a lot of songs in it for a long time. It's probably gonna have to go to as much as I didn't like it at
you're gonna say
first.
Posties, aren't
Um,
you?
oh, was Posties
Yeah.
2022? Oh shit, 2022 is so long.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna have to give it to the Blackbear album because I listened to that
Really?
so much.
The punk
Yeah,
rock one?
and I'm not saying it's the best. Yeah, but I listened to the songs
Really?
on that so much.
Wow. Interesting.
I couldn't even remember Posty. I can only remember like songs that came out in the last like
Couple months.
half of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was thinking about the Metro album.
Mm.
Um,
I don't know, man.
but yeah, I listened to the Blackbear like at least like five songs in there like for the whole second half of the
Wow.
year.
That's wild. I didn't.
And he made it onto
Not
my
like that.
yeah he made it onto my top
Your top songs or
my
whatever.
top he was my top
Was
artist of
he
the year.
really?
So
Wow.
yeah, Blackbear was my top artist
Interesting.
this
I
year.
really did not
So
care for that album at all. But
I know. But again, like for actual albums, I guess with Posties, there's probably only like four I've listened to that came out in 2022.
yeah,
So
that's fair. Hmm.
as far as most playtime, it would have to be Black Bear.
Right.
But I did like Posty a lot when I listened to it.
Yeah,
But
that album took a bit for me to like. Um. Hmm.
I
Best
mean,
album.
hey, you're the music guy. What about
You
you?
know, this is gonna be. It's weird. Okay, now I'm biased. Because that's always gonna be like I'm proud of that.
Hmm.
It's the best album of the year, but it wasn't. But
Yeah.
um, conceptually, musically, like from a real like an album standpoint, it might have to go to
Hmm.
Quadeca, and that's a wild choice for me
I was gonna say, yeah,
because
I was figured that's the one you're gonna pick.
I
Weirdly
I
enough.
know that Kendrick's album was good. I'm not saying it wasn't good, but it didn't feel like a full body of work. Like it didn't feel like a story from top to bottom. And those are the albums I like. And like
Mm.
there were some songs on Kodeca's album that I wasn't a fan of, but it's not that they didn't fit in with the album. It wasn't like they were weird choices for that album. I feel like everything was put in nice order and like the story was good and pretty cohesive. So probably that one. That's probably my best album for 2022. And that's kind of wild because we had some
Yeah.
big people dropping like Posty, Kendrick. That's all I can think of right now. But um, that's some big
I'm
albums.
sure Drake probably dropped
Oh yeah, Drake dropped. Well, he dropped
sometime
like
during the year.
he dropped the House album.
Weekend, did the weekend drop?
Oh, is that this year? No, that was last year. Like, well, fuck, it's 2023.
Wasn't it?
That was
I don't know.
2021. Dawn FM came out 2021, right?
It was released on January 7th,
Oh
2022.
shit. That's still not
Uh,
my favorite album. I did listen to that album a lot,
no, there were a
but
couple.
I
Yeah.
don't think it's my favorite album of the year. Drake dropped the collab with
Um,
21 Savage, and he dropped his House album last year, and I wasn't really a huge fan
yeah.
of either one. So, but I haven't really been a fan of Drake's past 2 or 3 albums, to be honest. So
No.
he's never really been my album of the year, not since like 2014, 2015, around there. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I don't know. I didn't listen to a whole lot of new music this year, to be honest with you, though. I usually try to explore a lot, but I kind of just went back to what I know, like just Mac
Yeah.
Miller and old ASAP Rocky, and like some classical music. That's usually my go-to for back in the day. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, we'll see who drops this year. I'm sure there were well, last year was a weird year where like some people had dropped and wanted to tour because COVID was kind of going away, you know? And then for like
Yeah.
the 2 years before that, nobody really dropped anything because nobody could tour. So it was like a weird time where like all of 2021 and kind of most of 2020, nobody big really dropped anything. Maybe J. Cole dropped his album, maybe like end of
Yeah.
COVID, but it was kind of a weird time where I don't know if anyone was really working on music or what they were doing. So we didn't have a lot of huge drops during that time. But now I feel like everyone's allowed to tour again. You'll have a lot more of the big artists finally dropping music because they can go on their arena tour. Um, so we'll see what this year has. I don't think we're getting another Post Malone record for a while though, which kind of sucks. Because
No.
his last one was a bit lackluster in my opinion.
Hmm.
But
Definitely
yeah.
weaker.
I think it has good elements to it. Like if he builds on that, I think he's got a good thing going,
Hmm.
but it was not his strongest probably, I would say. But yeah, man. I can't believe like we're already almost 2 weeks into the new year. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
We're blowing through this year.
Ugh.
Blowing through it.
2023
Yeah.
feels weird to say.
It's a weird one. I wasn't I mean, I wasn't ready for 2020 to be over. So I'm still
No.
I'm still trying to process what the last
So
3 years.
3 years
Yeah, I'm
later.
trying to process everything. It's wild. Time is flying. But oh yeah, I forgot about the clip that I was gonna show you. So I don't know if you
Right.
heard about and I don't get into this shit, but I know it's a big talking point now.
Hmm.
You've heard about the what's his fucking name? Oh no, the book that Harry dropped, right? The whatever his
Yes.
name is.
Yeah.
It the
Yeah.
Prince? What do you call him? The
Prince Harry. I think he's
the
still the
Prince?
prince. Yeah. Or
Harry and Meghan.
yeah.
That couple.
Hmm.
He dropped a book and he had
Yep.
some wild shit in it. So I have a clip to show you, and I just can't. I don't know what was going on here, but I'm gonna show you this clip. Bear with me. Okay, is it shared?
It's loading right now. Yeah.
Penis was oscillating between extremely sensitive and borderline traumatized. The last place I wanted to be was Frostnipistan. I'd been trying some home remedies, including one recommended by a friend. She'd urged me to apply Elizabeth Arden cream. My mum used that on her lips. You want me to put that on my Todger? It works, Harry.
Told you.
The minute I opened it, the smell transported me through time.
Oh,
I felt as if my mother was right there in the room. And I took a smidge and applied it down there. My
yeah.
penis
So that's a clip from his book.
Oh boy.
I'm sure it gets wilder than that, but I just thought that was absolutely wild. On my Todger, I've never heard Todger.
Yeah. Todger. It reminds you of your mother's lips.
And you're putting it on your
putting
dick.
it on your
yeah, on your
Todger.
Todger. That was wild. I couldn't believe. Like, I knew people were saying there was some wild shit in that book, but like
Hmm.
on my Todger. Mm. How do you spell Todger? How would you
Yeah.
spell that? Todger? Todger? Why
Todger.
Todger?
Todger, yeah.
I would love if it was spelled with an A at the end. Todger.
And that's the one I've never even heard. I've never heard Todger before.
I've never heard Todger, no. But I died laughing. I heard that clip and I was just dying laughing in my kitchen after all the cabinets opened because that was cool. Because my house is haunted.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Todger. I might have to read that book now or like listen to it.
Sounds like there's some
'Cause
interesting
it might
stuff,
be
yeah.
really funny to listen to. They just make up
Yeah.
words, bro. Todger, a wank.
Todger.
Have a nice wank on my Todger. It's fucking bad, dude. They just make up words, man.
Apologies to our one
Yeah,
British
I'm
viewer,
sorry, man.
but
I'm sorry. But like, why do you guys make up
gotta
words?
speak American.
Don't make up
Yeah.
words. You guys just start saying shit.
Todger.
Todger? The fuck is a Todger? What is it? How do you even get that word? Where did that come from? I swear they just say shit and they're like, that's
Maybe
what that
like
means.
maybe British people don't know either.
Maybe
And
it's
it's just like something the royal family like as a kid they're like, hey, like you're
You're
Todger.
Todger?
Like they
It
didn't
was
want him
just, like,
saying
weird.
anything like no dick, no penis.
That'd
like,
be funny if, because they didn't want to curse, they made up a bunch of words and then everyone
Yeah.
kind of caught on to
for the
it.
royal family.
Pretty
Yeah.
interesting. It's probably not too far fetched of an idea. Do they even do anything
Maybe.
anymore? Like, they don't actually do shit, right? Like, the royal family has no actual power in the government, right?
Not really.
What the
no.
fuck are they around for then? Like, why are they there? You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe they do in like
I mean,
I
the
don't
prime
know.
minister is basically the president. Kind of like how Canada is, their prime minister is the president, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
what the fuck what's the point having a king and queen? They don't do shit. Like, are they like, I think even like the president of the United States doesn't meet with the like king to discuss things about the country. He would meet with the prime minister. Because Churchill was the prime minister.
Oh, like
And like the president
Yeah.
had a good relationship with Churchill, and the king really wasn't involved with the war effort. So is the royal family just like what would their reason be? Do you
I
think,
mean, they must do something. I don't know enough
but
about.
you think they're just around because I mean I know they own a lot of land. That's not a question, and they have a lot of money.
Yeah.
But what's their
Mhm.
actual purpose? 'Cause I don't think they have one. Like, what
don't
happens
know.
when... I know people are really infatuated with the royal family. It's probably why they're still even a thing.
Mhm.
Like, just because everyone's so interested in them. But I have to look up, like, what they actually do. Because I have a feeling they don't really do shit. And they're just kind of around.
No. Maybe like I don't know. Maybe it would change if they had like a younger person. Like
Maybe.
maybe, but even then, like they've lost a lot of. I'm sure like their power in the last decade,
Yeah.
or not
Last-
decade, sorry, century.
Yeah. Because I don't know, like, it just seems odd to have, it's almost like a reality show. Like, you have this group that, it's a family that doesn't really run the country, but they used to run the country, so they still have money and power,
Yeah.
but, like, they don't actually do anything, like,
Just like
yeah,
figureheads. I don't know.
I guess, just like, it's the face of the country, and that's just kind of how it's always been. Is it even technically a monarchy anymore? It's not, right? It's like a democratic something. Because it's not a monarchy. Because it's not like the king isn't the... There's a royal family, but he's not in control. To the extent of that there's... Because there's government parties, right?
There is a term for it. I remember hearing it like during school,
Yeah.
but it's like some sort of democratic
Yeah.
monarchy.
It's weird.
I'm sure there's a
Weird.
better term, unless they just combine the two. But
I'm curious. What is Canada's involvement with the British? Like, really, when it gets down to it? Like, do they kick back taxes? Like, how does that work?
you're asking the
'Cause,
wrong
like,
guy.
is Canada independent? because they're still under king's rule now, right? So are they
Yeah.
still technically a part of the United Kingdom, or like how does that work? I'm so curious on how that works, cause like there's still a big thing about like there's kind of a lot of British influence in Canada, British and French, and like you're still under king's rule, and you have a prime minister, you
Hmm.
have their system. So I'm curious how far that goes, you know?
Still part of the Commonwealth.
So like this
Um,
Canadian,
today, the British Commonwealth has at least one member on every continent in the world.
really,
Hmm.
on one continent, really. I mean, they used to have control of everything, to be fair.
Yeah.
So like they just started giving some people back, and they're like, we'll keep someone everywhere. Every continent, huh? Hmm. What's their? They have a Commonwealth in Asia?
Uh, a few Asian countries, it says.
Really?
Let's see.
Because they had control. I mean, they owned like half the world at some point, bro.
Hmm. Jamaica's a Commonwealth?
Jamaica is? Really?
Uh, let's see.
I feel like I just don't know. Like,
Big table.
what does
But
Commonwealth
I don't
mean,
know.
even?
Um,
Because like, I'm curious, like, if Canadian taxes, some of that gets sent back to the
mhm.
UK. Or I don't even
I
know if
don't
that's the
think
right word.
so.
Sent back to the British.
I don't know if that could even.
Because like, what does that even mean to be in the Commonwealth? Like, what does that just mean? Military efforts would be combined, or like? Because I know they used Canadian troops in World War II, and that was only because they were a part of like the Union or whatever that is, UK.
Let's see. The Crown apparently costs Canada over 58 million each year,
It's not
or
that much.
approximately $1.5 per Canadian. Yeah.
So they do. They take a
Um,
little bit.
looks like it. Yeah.
Mm, I see. So they just stretched a bunch of commonwealths all over the world, and it's like passive income for them. 58 mil a year is not a lot though for like a government. I feel like.
No.
So where does that incentive come from anymore? That's like one of their houses. Hmm. I guess what was Harry's allowance? Like 3 mil a year or something like that. It wasn't as
Yeah.
crazy as I figured it would be. I don't. Maybe they're not actually as rich as I think. They just used to be really rich.
Maybe.
Anyway, we're at about an hour. Is there anything else you want to talk about? You have any more topics or?
I mean, I have stuff that could be talked about. It's not
Well, choose the best one.
that
We'll do
exciting.
one more.
Hmm. The best one. Um, I'm interested to hear what you would choose.
Okay.
I know, you have your thoughts on being famous, but if you had to be famous,
Mhm.
what would it be for? Like musician, acting, athlete,
Mm.
like
Athlete would be cool.
assuming you could do like any
Yeah.
of it. Or I guess you could split into like as of right now, like as of who you are,
Mm.
and then like which one you think would be
Which
the
one would
best.
work best for me? How famous we talking? We
Yeah.
talking like colossal fame?
Um, I mean, you could probably pick if you wanted, but I would say like
Like a moderate, like most people know me. Mm.
yeah, like whatever you choose, you're like
One of the
if
best.
you chose an athlete,
Yeah.
yeah, like you're like top
Um,
top 10 in the profession you choose or top 5.
that's a good question. I don't think I do acting. Athlete would be cool, but if
Hmm.
it's based on who I am right now, I couldn't be an athlete. Um,
Yeah.
you know, The first thing that popped in my head was actually a director. I feel like being a movie
A
director
director.
would be real fun. Like, especially if you were famous and you could get as much money as you wanted for whatever you were doing. I feel like that'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, something that I would choose would probably be music. I would like to have a. But also, I feel like you can do music, and a lot of people are proving that, like, you can get famous off music and then do other shit. Like, there are a lot of musicians who act now, a lot of musicians who own businesses, you know what I mean? So, like, I'd probably do
Mm-hmm.
music, 'cause that'd be cool. That'd be a cool feeling.
You don't be a famous YouTuber, famous Twitch streamer.
Mm, I just don't know. See, that's the thing. The way my mind works is if I'm famous in one thing, I can be famous in a few other things. Like if you're
Yeah.
famous in music, you can be a famous Twitch streamer pretty easily. So
So you say might as well choose the highest. That way you
you
can
can yeah,
just be
you can
successful in
spread
the
it
others
out.
as well.
Yeah. But if I was gonna choose something that like it's enough success to be able to spread it, it would probably be music. I don't think I have an interest in acting. I don't think I'm that interested in that. That
Yeah.
seems like just a nightmare. Like you're traveling and you have to commit to character. It just sounds like a mess, you know. Yeah, what would you
Mhm.
choose?
What would I choose?
Okay, that's a see. I don't know about
don't
you.
know.
I don't know which one you'd choose.
I have no idea. I'm not close to anything,
Mm.
so like
I mean, you could
can't
just
really
be like
say.
an influencer.
An
Yeah.
influencer.
Just post
Yeah.
post like a controller once in a while and get a couple racks.
Mhm.
I feel like you would choose Twitch
Yeah.
streamer.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. I probably
You
wouldn't
get
mind
paid
that
for playing Civ.
compared to the alternatives. Yeah. Like I feel like acting could be fun, but I'm just not an actor.
Yeah.
Like it's just not something I would do. But like it's definitely something I thought like, oh, that'd be pretty
Yeah.
fun, like being an actor.
I wouldn't mind. See, I don't know.
Um,
I'm more interested in writing or directing than I am to like act in it.
Yeah. And then yeah, I'm sure being an athlete would be cool, but
Yeah, being an
Also-
athlete would be really cool. But
yeah.
if I was in
A lot of
shape, I
work,
would
you
choose
know.
athlete maybe, because that seems
Yeah,
like I don't know
yeah,
what that
same.
feels like to win like
Mhm.
that. Like I've won, but not like
Like,
that, dude. Like
yeah.
winning a Super Bowl and like the whole fucking arena is going crazy, and you just like that has to be a feeling that
Yeah.
you can't replicate anywhere else.
Experience otherwise. Yeah.
So I think if I was in shape, I'd
Um,
choose athlete.
So an athlete would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because competition,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, your whole life is competitive. I think that would work well with me.
Mhm.
But either that or can I choose to be a famous esports player?
Yeah.
Might choose that too, because you can kind of be a
Competitive
Twitch
player.
streamer.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. Like you get kind of that taste of
Mhm.
winning, but it's attainable for us because we don't have to be in shape. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
maybe esports. Yeah, maybe I'd choose to be like a famous COD pro,
Mhm.
since especially there's a lot of money involved right now. You could be a big Twitch streamer from that and do a lot of different things with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe COD pro.
Oh.
I mean, it depends. It might not. There are a lot of COD pros that stream and don't do anything, but you know, it's
Yeah.
attainable at least. I feel like I'd have, if I knew
Mhm.
that I could pull an X amount of viewers, like I would probably be okay. But yeah. Well, is there anything you want to plug or talk about or anything else?
No, I don't think so. You know,
Well,
you talked about your Twitch and your music.
I
You should
did
plug
here.
those.
I stream on Twitch sometimes, twitch.tv/rebelrsr. I don't stream that consistently, but it's usually a good time. And yeah, I have a single coming out January 31st. It's my first single of the year. I'll put a link in the description, I guess, of like my artist profile. If you like music, go check it out. This is obviously like a small channel, so if you are new, like subbing's a big deal and liking is a big deal just because it gets us higher on the search ratings. So if you did enjoy this video, just give a little tappy, you know. And yeah, we're on.
And if you have anything you want us to talk about,
Yeah, if you have any
put a comment.
recommendations,
Go to
yeah,
YouTube.
give us a comment. Well, you need the ideas, you know, because we're lazy and don't think about things during the week. So, yeah, I think that's gonna be it. thank you if you made it this far. Goodbye.
Hmm. Peace.